You can't make anybody have your point of view. They're not going to have your same perspective. There's now being on the same page is not the same as looking through the same eyes, right? So you're never going to be able to force somebody to see things your way. You have to stop that. If you want any type of happiness, you have to really
look in yourself.
It's always going to come down to self-awareness.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, you might hear that a lot going forward. Like, this is only...
The Bible clearly says to look at yourself and not to look at other people about the way you're acting and how you act towards people. It's talking about more of how you need to respond and how you need to act. It's not talking about the next person, and what, because at the end of the day, God is going to judge you in your actions. They're not judging your husband's actions or your wife's actions. He's judging your actions. So that's the first place you need to start to change the reality of the situation. And it might not always change the reality of the situation in terms of the other person, because it still might be that person. You might not always get the outcome that you think you're gonna get.
Well, it's not gonna happen the way you think it will.
Right. But the ultimate thing about you loving that person for where they're at and for what they're doing.
If you change yourself, you will change the people around you. That's just what happens when you are
like
operating out of love.
Like either they're gonna ride that train with you, or they're not. They're gonna go away because.
Or they're not.
Right, because you know when you change, they're either gonna be repelled by that, or they're gonna want to stick with you and keep going on that same wavelength with you.
Right. So, operating out of love, right? That's pretty much my foundation. No matter what it is that you're doing, if you're operating out of love, that means everything that you do for this person, or even for yourself, it has to be out of love, unconditional love. You know, there's going to be a lot of different, tough love, and you can love somebody and still do bad things to them. I'm going to just say that love is love. Like, love is just love.
But a lot of people have the misconception of what love is. What is love?
Okay.
What does that look like?
That is true. So, how would you define what love is? Love is light. Like, love is light.
Well, God is love. So for me,
light.
God is love. God is light, because He calls us the salt of the earth, and He calls us light. And He also has in the Bible, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy or boast. And then it says it keeps no record of wrong. But if you look that up in the Bible, because they do that scripture in like a lot of weddings, so you can find it.
Right.
So,
and that's no
if
different.
you look at what those qualities are and you study those and you look them up in the dictionary, they're going to be hard to do. It's going to take work, and it's going to take work on your part to attain those qualities of what love is, and then applying that to your spouse. Which is what I had to do in the beginning, because I was like, What in the world? How am I going to do this? I don't want to do this. Like, you need to give me another husband.
Yep, and I gave you that chance.
And so I had to really figure out, because when you love your husband and you want to keep your marriage together, you figure out, okay, well, if I'm a Christian, let me look to the Bible and see what it says about being in an unequally yoked marriage and how to love my spouse and what does that look like. And it was hard. It was hard. But it's not impossible, folks, because here we are on this channel with y'all telling you it's possible.
Very
because it's really dying to your flesh every day, serving your husband, submitting to his leadership. All of those things are not easy to do, but they are possible to do.
Let's touch on that point too.
What?
Submitting to his leadership.
Right, and submitting to his leadership when he's not a Christian, when he doesn't think the way you do. And not everybody is going to think the way you do.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have to, this is the best, and I feel like God has brought me on this journey for a reason with you, because it's taught me so much more about loving unbelievers, and I don't think we get enough of that. I think when you're just in this Christian bubble, it's harder to love people that don't think the same way as you, that don't have the same views as you. And I feel like I have to do that every day.
It's not just unbelievers, it's just how to love people.
Or people, just period. People in general. But we're saying, because it tells you in the Bible, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. And so it's like, it's telling you not to be around people that don't think the same way as you. You know what I mean? But still witnessing to, like, don't have close connections with those people. And I live with you. I love you. But it does tell you, if you are married. Hold on, I have the verse right here.
If you are married. So
it says, and if a woman has a husband who is not a believer and he is willing to live with her, she must not divorce him, for the unbelieving husband has been sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbeliever leaves, let it be so. The brother or sister is not bound in such circumstances. God has called us to live in peace. How do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband? Or how do you know, husband, whether you will save your wife? And that's in 1 Corinthians 7:12 through 16. And then it says, wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. 1 Peter 3:1. And you see it says they may be won over. It doesn't say they will be won over. Let's make that clear. So don't get your hopes up. Like, don't be nagging him. Don't be trying to be Holy Spirit Junior. You know what I mean? Like, that's not your job. That's God's job.
You're good, babe. You did. It's all good. I mean, also what I wanted to touch on about following his leadership is, what type of leader is he? Like, what type of values and characteristics does he have for you to even want him to lead or be a leader in the family? And again, I think that was easier for you because
the quality of husband I have.
Those those type of things I do regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, as a Christian woman,
Mm-hmm.
you are to submit to the man, and he is to be the head of the house.
Right.
Personally, I don't believe that. I believe women truly have the power. Um, there's even, in ancient times, like if like a man couldn't be a king unless he had a queen. And even in certain Indian tribes, if there was a major decision to be made, there was an elder woman that had the final say so. I just think that a husband and wife share equal responsibilities as leader in the household. And being on the same page, which is where communication comes into play, and compromise, because there's going to be some things that the man is strong about. There's going to be some things that the female is strong about, but it's all about communication and where the direction is that you guys want the family to go into, or where you want your life to go into. Okay, so
so what I was going to say with that, it does say submit to your husband, but if your husband is causing you to sin, you submit to Christ first. If it's against God's law, then you don't have to submit to your husband when it comes to that.
He's gonna be making you do some.
I just want to keep
stuff.
that clear.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, I mean, that just goes back to what kind of leader is he? Mm-hmm. Women they will submit to somebody that they respect. I just think that to be the case. Now we can talk about, the society and how certain systems were created or not created, or how certain environments were created in certain urban communities, this, that, and the other. We can go, that's a whole nother different issue. How certain conditions were ingrained into certain peoples. But besides that, personally, and this is just from me paying attention to different relationships and just noticing things around me, women will submit to their man if they respect him. And so now there's different variables that can go into that, but I'm not going to get into all that. The whole point is respect has to be there for the woman to even consider submitting to the man. But it also, again, depends on what type of leader is he going to be. Does she even want to follow him in the direction that they're going? Because she might not want to, and she might not like his decision making. Mm-hmm. So, of course, that would add a hindrance to her deciding to submit. At the same time, the man is supposed to submit to his woman. So, and that's where I think we are good at, because I don't mind submitting to you. I do a lot. I do everything in my power to make it hard for you to want to leave me.
He does.
So
I will agree with that.
And Christian or not, that's just my own personal value that I live by. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it hard for you to want to leave me. And I don't think a lot of people are doing that. Some people just do stuff to make people want to leave them because they're really not happy. But I enjoy making you happy. I want to make you happy. There's just a lot of things that I'm willing to do for you to make sure that you are taken care of. And
I just came to that point.
yeah, well.
And that's a whole nother video.
Yeah. When I tell you that I earned wheat, like
I mean, like when I became a Christian, like devoted, he will say that the change was drastic.
Definitely.
And that is prayer. That is the Holy Spirit. Because I was a hot mess before this. So. So, you know, God and power of prayer. I mean, personally for my life, I'm not going nowhere. This is me, you know, riding this thing out till the wheels fall off. You know, I love me some Jesus.
And I love that you love you some Jesus.
Because it makes me love him more. He sees the change. And it's real to me. It's not fake. It's not play for me.
Yeah.
He sees the struggle that I go through, the reality, the transparency of me living this thing out, because it is not easy whatsoever to live as a Christian and to love others and to serve others, and especially when you have a very selfish nature, it's not easy to just consistently die to yourself like the stuff that it says in the Bible, like dying to yourself daily and just serving and giving till it hurts. Like none of that stuff sounds fun. So you wouldn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So, you know, but when you apply it, you see the drastic change. You see the love that God has for you and for others, and you see the changes, you see the transformation. And I mean, I'm not going nowhere, so you know, this works for me. And you know, this is where we are, and I thank God for where we are, because we wouldn't be here today sitting here trying to help you guys have any kind of change if we didn't go through this hard process. So change is there, and it is possible. It's not impossible, but it is hard work. It is going to be a lot of crying. It is going to be a lot of suffering. It is going to be a lot of serving, a lot of giving, a lot of compromise, a lot. So, and it's every day. It's not, you don't take no days off. So, you gonna do it or you're not. Or you're just gonna stay in the same stagnant place that you stayed. So,
boring.
So, you know, I say change.
Well, that's new for you too, though.
Yeah,
you didn't like change.
I didn't. So
I welcome change. I look forward to change. I just like the whole idea of not knowing, but just knowing that it's gonna happen or it's gonna be good, but just not knowing how. I welcome that, and it took you a little while to welcome.
But we're here, and we're staying here, because we will be doing this forever. Hopefully, God willing, we'll be doing this forever.
We can't do it forever. but we can do
a
it for as
long
long
time.
Yeah.
However long. I mean, well, our marriage for sure. Like I
or
pray
there's no more
that
YouTube.
we have a right. I pray that we have a happy marriage.
We'll probably have to find another way to help
get
people.
Information out.
Okay, so what we didn't say is
what?
That you have a Facebook group of where this even channel comes from. That basically.
Yeah, but we can talk about that in another video.
So she has a Facebook group.
Okay.
It's called Becoming Godly Wives.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. Check her out. And that Facebook actually started
because I was lonely.
Because she was lonely and she didn't know.
And I felt like I was alone.
She didn't know who she could talk to about her situation.
Yeah.
So, Becoming Godly Wives on Facebook.
It's a Facebook group, so you can look it up in the search window.
And then, but that was during the beginning. So now we just started figuring out, okay, so how can we actually help these people who, are in unequally yoked marriages and, they're trying to find some way to happiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be our mission, is just to share our own advice, our own experiences. Everything that we tell you isn't a for sure thing. Nothing that we tell you is going to be the right thing. But what I do hope is that you hear something that changes how you think about something. Or
if you read the Bible and you apply the Bible to your life, it will be the right thing if you are a Christian.
Okay. Well, you still have to give advice on that, because that didn't help you out at first.
Because I wasn't trying. I was living reckless. Like I was just out here, and I didn't even pick up my Bible really. I was just like,
yeah.
If you don't even read it, how you gonna apply it anyway?
But there are certain scriptures that you like to read, and certain websites that you like to go to help deepen your relationship.
I do Bible study, different. Not just reading the Bible. I dig deep. I can probably do a video about that, but
that's all I was saying.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, that's us. That's Happily Unequal. Comment down below whatever questions you guys have.
Or stories. If you do have an unequally yoked marriage and you need some advice or something, because I can.
And we're up to,
try to help
we accept
research.
Advice as well.
Yes.
We don't know everything. We do like to read a lot.
Well, we're not trying to tell you we not perfect people. We're not trying to. We're telling you our story and what worked for us.
Yeah.
And that's all we can do.
That's all. So.
But thank you for coming and joining us on our channel. We love y'all. Come back next week because we're gonna have fun talking about us. So
yeah.
And trying to help you guys and hearing your stories about
whatever,
all the different challenges in marriage, because there's so many. So
yeah, that's a lot. Not everybody there's no one size fits all.
Yeah, but we love y'all. Join us next week. Comment, subscribe, like.
Yeah, or don't.
All that.
Or don't.
Share with your friends.
Or don't.
We love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.